Hey, and welcome to another edition of What's Next with Joey McGuire. I'm Robert Giovanetti. It is Local Media Day here at Texas Tech, and Coach, all of this means we're here.
Yeah, we're here, man. We got a team meeting today, and then we get everything ready to rock and roll for the morning.
Take us back the last couple of days. Yesterday, you had Women Behind the Brand. That's always a cool event. How'd that go?
It was incredible. We had close to 1,000. We're still waiting on the final count. Going into it, it was a 952, but I think we
wow,
had
that's
some
amazing.
Extra people come in, and it was incredible. I mean, I love it because there's so many women. They're like, my husband gets to do this, this, and this, and I get to do this. And a lot of times they get to see things first, especially whenever it's a new season and it really gets everything kicked off. So it was awesome.
Yeah, you know, and it's funny watching Debbie, your wife obviously, has really grown it. You've got the Mahjong now at lunchtime.
That was cool.
That thing has really taken off.
Yeah, I was. We get out of staff meeting yesterday. We had a staff meeting at 8:30, and we get through, and I start walking to my office, and there's just this huge buzz. And I totally forgot that there was 100 women playing Mahjong and maybe mimosas. I don't know exactly what was going over there on the Sky Bridge. And I walk in there. It was so cool. They were so excited.
Some of those women, that was a day for them.
It was, because there was a lot of them that came and played Mahjong and went and had lunch and then came back for Women Behind the Brand.
So what's it like for you as we get this close? First of all, are you when you're not in season, do you go to bed early? Do you go to bed late? What's your typical routine?
Yeah, whenever, especially in the summer, I'm a night owl. Debbie's a night owl all the time, but I am. I binge watch a lot of things. Like, you know, I binge watch the new season of The Quarterback. There was another one season of something like, it was Untamed. It was a TV show, and just like, I'll binge watch stuff. So in the summer, even when we're in June and we've got to get up here early, I usually try to catch up on all the shows that I missed.
Yeah.
But in the season, I try to, even though I might not be sleeping, I try to get into a routine. Because I tell these guys all the time, man, there's a power in a routine, and I've got to follow the things that I'm talking about. So I'm the best whenever I get up here.
It's like when you woke up today, were you like, all right, here we go. Today's the day.
I was ready to roll. You know, I grabbed a bottle of water. That's part of my routine. I start off with that, and then as soon as I get here, I start making pots of coffee, multiple.
I've read recently that you got to drink water first. First thing you should do.
I start off. That's a routine. Start off, and then I think I'm on my third pot of coffee already. So I love.
Now,
coffee,
when you say pot, what do you mean? Like
I'm probably on my 10th cup of coffee, like a big cup. And here's what's crazy is I can drink it all day, and it's not going to keep me up. Like, it does get me going in the morning, but I think more than anything, I love the taste of coffee. I don't put anything in it, you know, but I love a good cup of coffee, and so it usually gets me going.
When you look at, I was looking at some of your returners. When you look at J-Rod and Barron and Caleb and some of these guys, and you look at all these new guys, you and I talked about this the other day a little bit, but how has that been meshing these guys together as a team?
Man, I could not, honestly. I couldn't ask for more from these guys. They are so in tune with each other. They really care about each other. The new guys, you know, some of them have meshed, coming from different. I love seeing Will Jados and Hunter Zambrano. I'm gonna tell you a cool story about those two guys. So we did something at what is the it's a community home here. I want to say it's a Raider. I'm gonna totally miss this. Anyway, they went and played a bunch of card games and everything with some people that live in that
community. Like Raider Ranch.
Raider Ranch.
Okay.
And they did that, you know, it was just a deal for some community stuff. Well, they had so much fun that, and I didn't know this until like a month later, they were going like just on their own on Sundays to go play card games. Wow. They enjoyed so much the people and Lubbock and everything. And so those guys have been really, have connected, but everybody, all these guys have connected, and I couldn't ask for more of where we are right now. And we're going to get even closer through camp, but where we are as a team. When
you look at, speaking of new guys, you got Mac and Shield. the new coordinators. How different has it been for them? Have they taken a different approach coming into this than you're used to? Has it been? I know it's been going great, but what have you seen different about those two guys?
Well, I think they're really, I whenever it comes to the football side, my job, I'm more of the CEO, and I lean to defense, but more the CEO, especially with them. I didn't want to get in their way of install and what they're trying to do. I think the things that I've seen from them, how organized they are, they have a passion for players. The players have really bought into them. They bring a different energy. I think of one thing that they did not expect. They've never been at a place like Texas Tech.
Right.
Honestly, very few people have.
There's not very many.
There are not many people like. There are people that claim that away. There are very few places like Texas Tech, and so they've done all these events, just like the women behind the brand yesterday. They were blown away. They've done women's clinic before, and there might be 100 women there, or there might be 2, but nothing like what they were a part of last night, and so. They really appreciate where they're at, and they appreciate Red Raider Nation and all the fans.
That's outstanding. And do they feel it? I know you feel it, and you love it and embrace it. The anticipation that our fans are feeling for this year.
Yeah, that's a good word. Everybody's been talking about the expectations. They've been talking about the pressure. That's a good word. What's about to happen. I know they feel it. We talked when we met yesterday in our staff meeting. We talked about Shield Wood has been a part of some special defenses and done some special things. I don't think he's ever been a part of a roster like this. So when you marry the schematics of his defense with the talent of this defense, I'm really excited. So I'm really I cannot wait to see what these guys are going to do. And I think, Mac would say the same thing of just overall the depth at tight end, the depth at receiver, the depth at running back, the depth in the quarterback room, the depth in the O-line room. I mean, it's really exciting. We cannot wait to get to practice.
Yeah, it always cracks me up when people say, are your coaches ready for this? And so much expectations. I'm like, you guys always expected to win the first year you were here.
I did, man. I said that this morning. I mean, where we're at, we're moving in the right direction. I think we have the pieces in place to take the next step. I feel like we're building, but I go back and think year 1 and year 2, I would have bet my paycheck that we weren't going to have to play 3 quarterbacks, and them learning a new system and stuff like that. And so I still believe we're on the right track. It is time, though. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to be a coach that's trying to protect himself of surprise.
Right.
I do believe that this team can go out and reach our goals, and I'm excited about it, and we're going to embrace it.
A lot of the reason is because of the portal class, right? We brought in this great portal class. In Texas Tech, you mentioned this in an event you and I did last week. Texas Tech has kind of taken on the black hat role when really it should be the exact opposite. We should be wearing the white hat because we have disrupted the traditional hierarchy of college athletics, of how people expect things to be. Has that been interesting for you to sit in that seat and to say, wow, if we were Ohio State or somebody else, no one would be questioning what's going on?
No, nobody would be surprised that you had the number 1 portal class. Nobody, if you go on one side, LSU has the number 1 portal class. Nobody's surprised with that, right? Last year with the roster that Ohio State was able to retain and add, and same with, nobody's surprised with that. And then all of a sudden, whenever Tech does it, it's like, what's going on? And, man, I'm excited, and we're going to embrace it, and we're gonna try to go out and we're gonna have a great year and really put something special in front of our fans.
People always insult T-shirt fans. I always think, hey, give me more T-shirt fans, right? I want as many people on our bandwagon as possible. If you're sitting out there in Middle America or Middle Texas or wherever, you don't have a team to root for, Texas Tech should be the team.
Yeah, why not us?
Right.
Why not? Why not root for us and root for the team that has been the underdog? And at the end of the day, even with playing the like you said, kind of the villain, we're still the underdog because people don't think that we can do it. And we don't have the right people in place and all that, and good, good. We'll just, I know we've got a really good plan, and these guys are going to work the plan, and they're going to respond, and I can't wait. I think it's like 31 days, and I can tell you exactly on my phone what it is to the second, because I got a countdown clock, and man, I cannot wait to run through. We're down here in the field level, and I can't wait to run through our fans, and I can't wait for the new guys to experience it too, because like we have some dudes that were in some really good programs, but they've never been in a full house every single week, every week with a fan base like we have, help changing the game by the environment that they create.
For a guy like you love the players, you're a family guy, you're a team community guy. How much does all of this add to your plate, the NIL and the lawsuits and all that? Is it a distraction? Is it a nuisance? Do you like keeping up with that?
I mean, it's the world we live in. So, you can either bury your head in the sand and think it's going to change, or you can be a part of it, and I want to continue to help. Craig Bowles, a good friend of mine, he's the head of AFCA. Yeah. We've got a great person that's really trying to change college athletics, not just college football, college athletics, and Cody Campbell. Yep. And I've told them, I'm all in. I don't want to be the guy that gripes about stuff and doesn't try to help with solutions. I've connected Cody with a lot of coaches and a lot of ADs. For him to be able, because that's the deal, him connecting, because what he's trying to do is get his voice out there from the standpoint of like, look, I know I'm backing Texas Tech, but this part over here of what's going on in college athletics is bigger than Texas Tech whenever it comes to making sure that we secure all of our games, softball, women's tennis, men and women's track, like everything is protected, and some things have got to be put in place to make sure that happens.
The great thing about Cody, obviously you don't get to his stature. He and John's business multi-successful, but he's pretty smart.
Yeah.
The way he gets all this information and he gleans it and the way he distributes it is pretty amazing.
Yeah, they those two guys, along with, Dusty and man, we're really lucky that people we have, Gary Peterson. He didn't get to where he's at without being pretty dang smart. Mike Wallace and all of those guys. But Cody does have a passion for. The one thing that I love about him is he's going to be the first person to say, I am where I am because I was a college athlete, and the things that I went through at Texas Tech to help me build where I'm at right now, I wouldn't have got anywhere else. He would not be where he's at if he wasn't a college athlete. And so he understands that he needs to help everybody else because he's in that role to have the opportunities that he had.
Yeah, I love he understands that the benefit for the university as a whole, right? We have to be in a major conference, but the overall importance of college athletics to the overall college, he gets it. Yeah, he gets it for sure. All right, let's go back to football. I mentioned Barron. I want to talk about the quarterbacks just a little bit. It's pretty beneficial now that Will had so much experience last year.
I was at lunch yesterday, and some guys were asking about Barron and asking about Will, and I said, the great thing is Barron has played so many snaps, and he's got a high football IQ, so he picked Mac's offense up really quick. So the first day he got to run it on air in June, man, it was just like he had been running that offense for years.
Yeah.
The benefit that we had, we were able to get his shoulder fixed, give him a lot of confidence in physically where he's at, but we're able to give Will every single snap with the first team in the spring, which only, increased his confidence in this offense. And so we're really lucky. That room, I mean, really that entire room, we got 5 guys in that room, and they're so close. They're fun to be around. Mitch, transfer, he played in the ACC. Him and Barron had become really, really close. Chubb is our high school guy, and Philip, our local guy. They're our 2 high school guys that we brought in. They've done a really good job because they came in during the winter. They were early grads, so they've got a good grasp on what we're doing.
The other thing I think is interesting that you lose generational player in Taj Brooks.
Yeah.
But you don't hear a lot of people going, man, Tech's in trouble at running back, because you're not.
No, in fact, you hear a little bit more about the running back because, Quentin, with the speed and size that he has, some people look at him, as a guy that definitely has as much potential he's got to live up to some big shoes and Taj Brooks, both from Maynard, Texas.
Right.
And then you have the young guys that have really good bowl games. And so I think we're in a good spot in that room.
Going over to the defensive side, you talked about that. Obviously, would you agree the strength of this group is going to be your D-line?
Yeah, and the depth. I got a chuckle in the press conference because I started naming off all the guys, and it's 13 to 15 deep of guys that have started college football games, and a lot of them that have started football games for us and Jones AT&T. And so the depth of that group, and the depth of that group only helps our linebackers, and only going to help our secondary be better.
We'll talk a lot more, obviously, about as we go through fall practice, the depth chart and who's standing out and everything. Just kind of wrapping up today, do you kind of feel like you've done all this? Do you ever get to the point of going, man, how many times am I going to answer these same questions?
Yeah.
I do that sometimes in conversations. Like, man, I just had this conversation. You get to that point where you're going, God, I've talked about this a million times.
Well, I'm ready to get into practice, and we'll talk about practice. And then I'm ready to play a game so we can stop talking about what happened in the off season and the new coordinators, and we can talk about the team that everybody just saw play and how they're growing every single week. I'm ready for that part.
How ready are these guys to get out there? You've spent all spring and summer getting them to come together as a team. We've seen them. Those of us that work here have seen them out there working out and working their rears off. This has to be kind of a huge day for them too.
Yeah, they're excited. And I think they're also, we're a vet team. We've got some old guys, but there's some of them that are really probably anxious too because they've never gone through a camp with us.
Yeah.
And like Lee Hunter and Skylar Gill Howard and David Bailey and Romello Hyatt, guys that are older guys that have played a lot of college football. Every camp is different of what people emphasize and what the day's like and everything like that. So I imagine they're like they were when they were freshmen.
It's got to be a lot.
It is. It's a lot of anxiety, of anxiousness. And it's my job to just, focus on football and focus on what we can control.
Yeah, and you do focus on football, but I love the other thing you do is you always bring speakers in to talk to them just about adversity and life and all those things. I think of like a Chris Tyree coming in and talking to him about, running ultra marathons, being a Marine, those kind of things.
Yeah.
I think that's cool too that they get to, and I love it when I'm sitting in some of those and they're writing down notes and they're paying attention. They do a really good job of that.
They do a really good job of that, and that's something that we talk about all the time because if you're going to stay in the NFL, you're going to have to be a really good learner, and the way you learn is, visually and writing stuff down and rewriting stuff and the guys that can't, they don't stay in that league very long. Rodney Allison, I've got him. He's going to Zoom with us.
That's going to be awesome. I need to see that.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of NFL guys coming in today, and we're splitting the groups, and they're going to talk about, how they're graded. And I think it's really good because so many positive grades go up of how hard you play. And so, I want to make sure they understand that, hey, every single play is graded. And so we've got some of that coming in. I've got Ryan Aycock coming in next week to talk to the team.
Hall of Famer?
West Texas tough guy is Hall of Fame. And his wife was at the clinic last night, and I reminded her, I said, how lucky are you to be married to that guy? And she said, Coach, isn't the other way around. He has been so awesome. So we've got guys coming in, and we bring the guys like that back with Rodney and Ryan, and we'll bring some other lettermen back because I do think it's extremely important that these guys understand who they're playing for and what that double team means.
Yeah, Aycock's a guy, I've seen him a lot since he played here. Man, he
looks like he can still play.
He does. He doesn't age, and he kind of like Sammy.
No doubt.
I think you could put a uniform on Sammy Morris.
Sammy's got a couple snaps left in him for sure.
I don't think somebody'd want to be seeing him barreling towards him.
No, I wouldn't.
No, he's a good guy. What's the thing you're most excited about?
Just again, building this team. I think we're in a great spot, but I think we can grow so much over the next month. And, the big thing that we're going to focus on is controlling what we can control. And that is how you come in this building every day and the effort you give at practice, and then embracing this role we have, whatever it is, whether we're the villain or we're the guy with a chip on their shoulder, or we have all these expectations. Nothing great has ever happened not going through the pressure, not going through the pressure that you have to go through. Like, no matter what, if you want to get to where you want to be, you have to go through this, and we're going to embrace it.
All right, Coach, excited. Congratulations, we got here. Looks forward
sir.
to day one at practice. For Joey McGuire, I'm Robert Giovanetti. Wreck 'em.
Wreck 'em.